Man, you ever have a bad day at work and thought, I'd love to handle this like John Wick does? You know, minus the hundreds of felony charges? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, and never speak about that to anybody. But we're about to break down the top 10 guns from the first John Wick movie. The tools that turned one ticked-off dog dad into the most polite nightmare the Russian mob's ever seen. All right, we're going to kick things off with the Colt Mark IV Series 80 Combat Elite. This rig is your no-nonsense, all-American 1911 pattern pistol chambered in good old 45 ACP. The same caliber that's been making folks say, oh heck, since Teddy Roosevelt was still wearing tiny glasses. You see Vigo's hench goons packing these under their tailored suits, mostly because it screams organized crimes group by special. Now this piece has a two-tone stainless and black finish that the camera absolutely gobbles up, like it's a main character on a fit check video. It's also rocking the Series 80 safety internals, which Colt fans argue about more than Twitter folks debate pineapple on pizza. Some claim the extra safety bits muck up the trigger pull, but honestly, it still cycles smoother than my buddy Greg after 3 IPAs and a funnel cake. But in John Wick, it's basically there for background noise. Real gun guys see it, smile, and go back to watching Keanu send headshots and double taps. Now, let's talk about Marcus and his Ruger M77, sitting up in that sniper's nest like the world's chillest Discord mod. Minus all the Discord kittens, of course. This is a bolt-action rifle chambered in either 308 or 30-06 Big Game. These are don't mess around type cartridges that could drop a moose if it owed you money. In the film, it only pops up for a hot minute, but boy does it matter. Marcus saves John's bacon more than once by punching clean holes through bad guys' from a city block away. Kinda hilarious to see a classic deer rifle holding court in a neon-lit assassin drama though. Feels like someone queued up a wholesome hunting YouTube channel right in the middle of the Twitch stream highlights and headshots compilations. And hey, bolt actions in a modern gunfight, that is a commitment to the craft, buddy. Like a Minecraft purist mining every block by hand. Slow, deliberate, and oddly satisfying. Now down in John's personal concrete grave of memories and PTSD, we spot this antique cutie. None other than the Colt Model 1903 Pocket Hammerless. Historically, this little 32 ACP popper was the absolute drip for generals, gangsters, and that sketchy uncle. You know, the one who'd pour a flask at Thanksgiving and start talking about the war, never specifying which. It is chambered for 32 ACP, which, let's be real, is more of a hey, stop that than a proper you're done now cartridge, but looks so dang classy. You get why it's in Wick's vault. Sometimes you need a touch of vintage aesthetic to round out your hyper-violent trauma arsenal. Think of it as a dusty vinyl record in your Spotify-dominated playlist. You're probably not going to whip it out daily, but man, sure feels cultured to have it. Now, tucked into John's stash of nightmares is a Kimber 1911, most likely a super carry or maybe a solo if the lighting was being weird. Now listen, Kimber makes boutique 1911s that cost more than most people's gaming rigs. In the movie, it only gets a blink of a screen time, which is honestly very rude to all of us 1911 stands. That gun's lines are so clean they'd roast your Canva portfolio. Kimbers are built in Yonkers, New York, of all places, which I gotta say, that cracks me up. You hear Yonkers and you think traffic tickets or Tyler the Creator, but apparently they also crank out pistols that could win beauty pageants. But I gotta say, seeing it briefly, if only, in Wick's arsenal is kind of like seeing a verified checkmark reply to your unhinged tweet. Short, sweet, but you'll be screenshotting that bad boy forever. But then we got the Walther P99 wielded by Miss Perkins, John's old colleague who apparently missed the don't try to murder your coworkers in the middle of a Continental HR memo. This here German-made 9mm was groundbreaking when it dropped in the late 90s. Fully ambi-mag release paddles, adjustable back straps. Heck, it was ergonomic before people thought wellness was just selling crystal water bottles. It's a striker-fired piece with a quick reset that'll make your local speed shooter wink. It's also the same platform Bond rocked before downsizing to his tiny PPK, so it's got some cinematic clout. Still in John Wick, it mostly serves to show how stylish Miss Perkins is while trying to turn John into ground beef. And she does it with a smug smirk too. Listen to me folks, if there's a your mom drives a Honda Civic of pistols, it's the Glock 17. Chambered to 9mm with 17 rounds, standard, no thumb safety, no weird frills, just brutalist polymer perfection. Cops carry it, your local tactical LARP group carries it, and John Wick picks it up mid-fight when he runs dry. Watching him run the slides, swap mags, and keep sending hot brass is absolute therapy for people with ADHD. Little dopamine fireworks go off with every controlled pair. Kind of comforting how basic it is. Glock's like, yeah bro, it's gonna go bang. What more do you want? Podcast recommendation? I do have a few. Ooh man, the Kel-Tec KSG. Now we're talking YouTube bait. This bullpup 12 gauge with twin mag tubes is practically engineered to dominate thumbnail culture. Our buddy John tears through that red-soaked nightclub with a KSG like a dad going after raccoons in the trash, except with a far higher body count. The KSG lets you load a nasty combo, buckshot in one tube, slugs in the other, and you switch with a flick. In real life, people complain about short stroking it under stress, but John is way too slick for that. Every time he racks it and that shell pops out in slow motion, those Instagram edgelords gained a new reason to overpay for tactical gloves. It's also short enough to maneuver in a crowd, which, club shooters probably appreciate, even if OSHA definitely wouldn't. Peak John Wick mayhem. When John needs to move through a building with the grace of a kitten, he grabs a CA-415, basically a stateside clone of the H&K 416. Chambered in 5.56 NATO, this thing's got a short-stroke piston that keeps it cleaner under rapid fire than your buddy's hard drive after a suspicious pop-up. That's a big homework folder there, fella. He uses it in the church scene and again in the home defense slugfest, running CQB drills that have actual SWAT instructors nodding in respect. Watching John pivot through rooms and shoulder swap is pure serotonin for anyone who's overpaid for tactical carbine courses. And then there's John's little Glock 26, his oh crap I'm out of ammo but surprise gun. This subcompact 9mm is basically a pug. Small, slightly goofy looking, but still bites. John keeps it for them slick tactical transitions when his main gun runs dry and you see him slam the slide lock, reach for the 26 and keep ventilating dudes like nothing happened. Real concealed carriers swear by the Glock 26 because, well, it's small enough to disappear under that oversized thrift store tee you claim is vintage. Meanwhile, it still holds 10 +1 rounds that takes bigger Glock mags if you want to get extra spicy. But finally, the piece de resistance, the HK P30L, that glorious compensator hanging off the nose. This right here, folks, is the John Wick gun. The long slide, the compensator directing gas up to the muzzle flatter, it's all designed for maximum cinematic drip. The P30L itself is ambidextrous with a DASA trigger that's smoother than your last situationship's excuses. Watching John run this gun with all his slide checks and press outs and rapid transitions is enough to make half of r/guns weep softly into their 511 shirts. Post John Wick, everyone and their dog wanted a P30L build. It turned from solid German service pistol into a borderline personality trait. It's the reason every gun store now gets asked, do you have anything John Wicky? And this is by dudes who've clearly never even reloaded anything under stress. So there you have it, folks. 10 hunks of steel and polymer that let John Wick turn the Russian mob into a cautionary tale. Baba Yaga. Just try my hand at it. Anyways, hit that like button, drop your favorite John Wick gun in the comments from yourself, and subscribe so we can keep talking guns, grills, and glorious mayhem. Stay dangerous out there, partner.